Well, thank you all for allowing me to be joining you today. I'm going to start off by telling a little bit of story here. Probably most of you know, or all of you know, what that logo is. It's sort of a special logo for me. I have been an Apple guy for probably 8 years, a very long time. I still loved Apple even when Steve Jobs wasn't there and he was off doing some incredible other things. I was still an Apple fan and excited about it, but when he came back, I was even more excited to see what he would do. For those of you who aren't Apple fans, I'm sorry for you. I would encourage you to rethink your position. Today, 51% of people report that they own at least one Apple product in the U.S. They estimate that those projections are really wrong because most folks don't even realize that the stuff they're carrying around with them is an Apple product, iPods and those kind of things. One of the more interesting statistics is that 9% own 5 or more in their family. I happen to be one of those who owns 25 or more. But there's a reason why people like me are such nuts fans about Apple. What they do is something just extraordinary. When I first fell in love with them, I was an old IT guy, and I fell in love with them because they had this graphical user interface that had never been on a desktop computer before, and it was amazing to me. I was an old mainframe guy, and I just fell in love with this user interface notion. And it just got better and better and better as years went by. They invested fortunes in understanding how people think and how they work with computers, how they interact. Most of us are very comfortable using a mouse or a trackpad today. It was brand new when Apple introduced that. A lot of people don't even realize that that's the case, that mouse invention really was primarily a Mac product. But everything they've done over the last 10 or 15 years has been extraordinary. When Steve Jobs came back, I was excited with the new iMac that was introduced. It was this transparent machine that had cool lights that were going on in the background. It was this beautiful little machine. You could get it in any flavor you wanted, basically. And I thought that was pretty cool. Who knew that we were going to be introduced to this amazing little device called the iPod, and then the iPhone, and then the iPad. It's just amazing what they've done. How many of you have been in an Apple store? Okay. Pardon? If you can get in. Interestingly, Apple was never a retail outlet. They were, you had to be find a specialist who even carried those things. So to have an Apple store do what this company has done is truly amazing. They are the envy of everyone in the retail business to see what happens when they come out with a new product. The lines go around the corner and down the block. What they've done is create an amazing customer experience. And that's really going to be the topic of today is what it takes to create an amazing customer experience. You'll hear me refer to it as an ACE. This is another company that probably everyone is familiar with. They do things different than pretty much anyone else in the world on a level that I've never seen before. How many of you have ever been to an RV park, gone camping or been at a campgrounds with an RV park? How many of you have ever been to Fort Wilderness in Disney World? Oh, great. Okay. Well, it's just an RV park. We went on a trip across the country with my family in an RV park, rented RV, stopping along the way, the several places that we had to stop, and you get a lesson in what it's like to go to these RV parks. Most of them are pretty nasty. I mean, there are some that are nice and you pay for what you get and so forth, but some of them are really they were just pretty bad. Once you go to the restroom, you feel like you need to shower because you've been in their public facility there. But we decided we're going to stay for one night just to be in Disney. We're going to stay for one night in Fort Wilderness. And we pulled in there, and right from the beginning we knew some things were different. We pulled into a asphalt pad that was pristine and clean, whereas usually you're parking in dirt or maybe gravel or something along those lines in an RV park. Walked into the restroom, and I'm telling you, it was wham! It was sparkling everything. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen. The tile shined. The chrome, which seemed to be everywhere, shined. The bathroom stalls shined. I'm a pretty tall guy, and I can always tell a place that I'm going to enjoy by whether the shower hits me in the chest or not. I like them to be up here as opposed to down here. And I walked in, and not only was it over my head, but it was a vibrating shower head at an RV park. All of us came out of the bathroom, and all of us were like, you know, we'd just been in the worst places in the world, it seemed, in these RV parks, and here we're looking at the most amazing customer experience we'd ever seen in any place, much less an RV park. Everything about our stay from that day forward, for that minute forward, was exactly the same way. It was just an amazing experience that we had. The little things were so amazing. You know, I thought about the other day, those shower heads, it probably cost the cost of one night's difference in the standard RV park and Disney. And they put them in every shower stall and replace them every year, and it cost them next to nothing. But for those of us who visited, that one little thing was just an amazing little thing. And yes, we canceled all of our plans to go elsewhere. We stayed in the RV park for the rest of the stay. But that's what the whole Disney experience is like. If you've gone to Disney World, I'm sure most of you have, you know, it doesn't change no matter where you go. You can watch some clown litter, and before it hits the ground, there's someone there scooping it up and putting it in the trash. The little things that they do are just extraordinary. I have 10 years of experience with this little company. Most of you have heard. When I worked there, it was called Federal Express. Now it's FedEx. In the days that I worked there, it was an amazing time. I can't really describe to you any other way than to say it was a great time to be in a company like that. We were growing at a phenomenal pace. I was there when we had our first 1 million package day. At the time, that was a huge number to have grown to. We did things, probably all of you have heard the FedEx story and all that kind of stuff, so I won't bore you with all that, but the things that we were tasked with doing were so extraordinary for the time. Today, we all expect that we're going to be able to have someone pick our package up, that they're going to be able to tell us where our package is, you know, throughout its journey and those kind of things, and that we should expect to be able to get it there overnight. In those days, it was totally unheard of. When Fred Smith dreamed this thing up, there was not anyone in the world who could imagine you get a package from point A to point B in one day. And yet he was adamant that that was the service we were going to render to everyone, not just one or two. Every single one of these million packages had to get there absolutely positively overnight. And then he said, oh, and by the way, we got to capture the signature of the person who signs for it, and that's got to be available online within a few seconds of the time the person signs for it. Right. We built that stuff when no one had ever heard or imagined such a thing was possible. The most amazing part of it was where it came from. Not only was there that passion for it at the top, every single one of us who worked in that company in those days passionately believed in all this complete nonsense that was impossible to even believe in. We all passionately believed in it. All of us suits used to, at Christmas time, put on our galoshes and our winter clothes and run packages uphill in snow, you know, so not one package would fail to make it under the Christmas tree on Christmas Day. We always laughed about we had our purple and orange underwear on, you know, when we came to work every day. I mean, we lived and breathed this. I mean, people had FedEx tattooed on their arms, for crying out loud. This was a place you would die.